Hey everybody, we have arrived at our destination in Florida where we're going to spend a little bit of time, and we thought we would share some of our tips for making that transition to a digital nomad lifestyle.
And today our magic number is 93.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Deb.
And welcome back to the channel. We are here in semi-sunny Florida at the edge of Hurricane Helene. We've just made it here. We thought what we'd do today is take a little bit of time and talk about how we got to this point in our journey and maybe share some tips toward the end.
I actually think there's an E on the end of Helene. It's either Helene.
Helene. I think they pronounce it Helene. Helene, maybe Helene. I don't know. It's a big hurricane.
It's a big hurricane, yes. And it is actually going through the Gulf. We are in the Fort Lauderdale area, so you can see we have winds behind us, but we haven't actually gotten a lot more than that. But it's our first taste of a little bit of a hurricane, I guess.
This is the first video we're doing in Florida, and we thought we would go over to the park and do it there, and we're doing it on our balcony instead because it just starts raining just out of nowhere. So yeah.
So today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about an update from our last video where we talked about selling the house and moving and downsizing and everything. And we kind of broken our journey into 4 different phases for what we're going through for this cool adventure.
Nomad adventure. Yeah.
And so we feel like we're doing super good. We've actually made it through 3/4.
Yeah, I think three quarters of the way.
Yeah.
So if you remember, if you've been following along, watching some of our previous videos, we had basically a 5-year plan. We are in about the 4th year of our 5-year plan to really get going on this adventure. And so we thought we would break it down, kind of the phases to get us to this point.
So phase 1 for us was just a lot of planning and getting started. So the planning along the way for phase 1, we've talked about this before, it sort of changed a little bit. We finally settled.
It changed a lot.
It changed a lot. And we finally settled on just touring South America. So for our first year, we hope that this continues for many years. So it actually took us a little bit during that 5 years of going back and forth, and would we just maybe do something in the U.S., or we even talked about just going to Ecuador and getting visas.
Staying for a while. Yep.
And we finally landed on, it'd be fun to like move around a little bit more.
And that's the thing. The plan, when I say it's changed, I mean, it has changed a lot. People ask me where we're going, what we're doing. I'm like, I don't know, talk to Deb. It changes like almost weekly. But the overall plan of what we're going to do and where we're going to go, we really kind of started broad. We thought, let's travel. And then we narrowed it down a little bit. Let's go to South America. Then we narrowed it down a little bit more and said, let's go to Ecuador and stay there for a while. And then we expanded it a little bit and said, you know what? No, let's travel around South America. So we have adjusted the plan, but we've always kind of been in agreement on what we want to do and kind of the region, the continent that we wanted to go to.
True. So phase 2 for us was then selling the house and downsizing. And you will hear in this video us talking about downsizing a lot.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much you downsize, you're going to need to downsize more.
Phase 1 of having the plan, that's easy. Phase 2 of downsizing, 30 some odd years of marriage.
Yep.
And selling your house and selling your cars, and I mean, it's hard.
It is hard.
So buckle up. Just be prepared. It's, I think, totally worth it. It's cathartic. It feels good that
we're still stressed out about it, and we're still trying to just like decompress from everything we've been through in the last month.
So phase 2's, I mean, that's I think so far that's the hardest phase because we had to get rid of a lot of stuff.
Phase 2 for us consisted of selling the house, which we did, garage sale, giving away stuff, 1 million boxes to Savers or Goodwill.
Everything.
So there was a lot of that in phase 2. But when that was done, that felt good.
I don't think we all necessarily realize how many clothes we actually have until like.
And I don't feel like I'm a big clothes person, but still we somehow had way more than we needed.
We had a lot of clothes. So it's good. So phase 2, de-junkify or de-stuff.
So phase 2 at times was stressful, especially with selling the house. But phase 3 was stressful too. So for you, you might have fewer phases or more phases. This is just kind of how we broke ours down. So phase 3 for us was the relocation phase. So we know we're not going down to South America till we actually fly out on the 29th of December. We know that. But so in between, our choices were to stay where we were in Kansas and rent, but it was for such a short time that would have been expensive, or talk to our gracious daughter.
Move in. So, you know, the kids flee the house, they get away from their kids, and then their parents call and like, hey, can we move back in with you? And luckily, our daughter came to Florida for grad school.
She did.
It was good timing because we said, hey, if we share an apartment with you, we got a little bigger apartment.
And we'll help with the cost.
Split the rent. Could we help? And then have a room in the apartment. And then it works out really nice because then we have kind of an ongoing, she gets a bigger space. And we have an ongoing kind of home base when we do come back to the U.S.
And Florida works out really well for us because from South America, we will be flying in and out of Florida a lot to get down there.
So. It's a great jumping off point. But going from a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house with a 2-car garage and a big basement to an apartment with a bedroom, that's a not just a stuff shift. That's a mindset.
It's a lot.
Deb keeps, look, and I kid you not, Deb keeps bumping into things, and she's like, God, it's so different, you know, having a small space than it is having lots of elbow room and lots of space.
What we're used to in the Midwest, anyway.
But even before we talk about the small space, the moving was stressful.
That can be very stressful, and I was very surprised. As much as we had downsized and sold and given away stuff, we still had, it felt like, quite a bit of stuff.
We got a U-Haul truck.
We did get a U-Haul truck. We needed to bring our bed and some furniture for the bedroom, and then we brought a dining room table for our daughter.
We brought furniture for our daughter for the apartment, so she could have some of our stuff.
And then we took 3 days to drive down here.
And
so him in the U-Haul and me with the 2 dogs.
And it was fine, I guess. I mean, now that it's done, it was fine.
It's done, it was
stressful along the way because, you know, you're closing on your house, you're putting all your stuff in a U-Haul truck, you're waiting for all the closing to be done, you're getting in your U-Haul, and then I drove the big U-Haul truck, and Deb, we kept one of our cars just for a short period of time so that she could bring the dogs down here to Florida so that they can stay with our daughter. And man, moving across country, that's stressful. Like, it is.
So then we unpacked everything into our daughter's apartment. And remember, we have a bedroom in our daughter's apartment. There is an office space where he put his desk. So when he's back here, or at least till the end of the year, he can use the desk. But we quickly realized when we unpacked into the apartment, we need more downsizing.
We brought too much stuff. We still have too much stuff.
We have already taken one trip to Goodwill here.
And we have another box.
And we have another trip to make. So
I mean, it's you know, as you go through the dejunkifying phase, I think we talked about in our last video that, you know, you have the first phase, which is easy because it's stuff that we don't need that. We're just going to get rid of it, give it away, sell it, have a garage sale, whatever. The second phase, you have to start going through your personal stuff, and that's harder because you're like, oh, I'm going to give away. The third phase, which was really hard on Deb, was going through all the kids' mementos and things like that. That's tough. We're in phase 4 of the dejunkify, and it's really personal stuff. This is
we're still in phase 3, but we're dejunkifying.
No, but we're in phase 4 of like the dejunkify time.
We've done this, lots of
phases.
At least 4 times.
Like it feels like the stuff that we said we were going to keep. Now we have to look at it and say, are we really going to keep that? So yeah, it's tough.
Okay, we also wanted to talk to you about some lessons we have learned in our process so far. One of the lessons we learned is it really helped when we kind of broke it down into the different phases that we were going through. So we talked about, you know, the phase 1, the starting, the phase 2, the selling the house and downsizing, the phase 3, the actual moving. We have definitely learned, we broke it into phases and that helped a lot. And we learned that kind of helped us sort of in our mind organize what was going on and the tasks we needed to do. So for example, in phase 3, one of the things we really needed to do was think about what was our life going to be like in Florida as opposed to what we've been doing in Kansas.
Yeah, it's different. Like,
it is very different here.
Like all of our, like, we're getting ready to go into fall in Kansas, and so it's hoodie season. It's pumpkin spice land. It's cold weather, make chili season.
It is definitely not that here.
Next week in Florida, it's going to be 95 for like 4 days straight. So we still need those hoodies and those kinds of things, because when we go to southern Argentina and it's cold, we need those clothes. But they got space bagged and packed away because we don't need them here in Florida. So during this kind of 3-month portion of our life, we have to accommodate for those clothes.
Yeah, so that kind of really helped to just kind of break it down. And again, if you're going through the same process as us, you may have more phases, if that helps you, or just kind of just either mentally or write it down. Think about, what is your process going to be and which phases work good for you.
And part of it depends on where you're going to go. Because, we know when we leave, we're going to be going to southern South America, and we're going to be going to Antarctica at one point. And so we've got to think about what kind of clothes we're going to need when we go compared to what we need right here.
And for us, phase 3 included relocating, and it might not for you.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have a daughter with an extra bedroom who's in the same state, well, then you don't need to relocate.
Look, do anything you can to make your life less stressful while you're doing this stuff. But I mean, and I don't mean to sound like we love it. We're enjoying it. We're having fun.
We always like change, so this is kind of nice.
People keep asking us if we're crazy. Our mortgage closing lady basically said, "Well, that takes big nuts to do that." And I was like, "Well, yeah, okay." Yeah. I mean, it is. We thrive on the adventure of it. So the kind of scariness of it, kind of part of the goodness. So.
Okay. Another lesson that we're going to learn, and I'm not going to harp on this a whole lot because we learned downsize, and downsize some more. That was a big thing we have learned along the way. You can never downsize enough. It's just amazing to me how much we've gotten rid of, and we're still like, okay, what else can go? I
said we were in phase 4 of downsizing. I think we're going to be like, I think we probably still have a couple more. Like, we know actually, so we brought a lot of photos, like our family photos of our grandparents and uncles and aunts and great grandparents. And we know that over the next 3 months, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to digitize those. And so then we'll take them, they're all in big album books, and we don't need all those albums. So we'll take the photos out and put them away in envelopes and digitize them, and then we'll have them. And so we're going to continue, compressing maybe. Maybe we're not going to get rid of that stuff completely, but we're going to change the nature of it and make it smaller and take up less space.
Yeah, for sure.
Just keep on downsizing. All right, our next tip is take your time. This is not a rushed process. Don't make a snap judgment and be like, hey, in 3 months, let's go travel the world as digital. I mean, if you work that way,
and if you can, good for you.
Great. For us, we need like lists. So we make lists all the time. We need to do this and this and this and this. And some of those lists are part of the big plan, and some of them are like, today we need to do these 10 things to be able to get them done. But it's important that you take time. I think, Deb and I get along really well. Sometimes I snap at her, or sometimes she snaps at me, but we always know we're working toward the same goal. Like, we're trying to get this done.
Depends how grumpy we are in the meeting, too,
right?
So.
How much coffee we've had. But take your time. Don't stress yourself out over this. Obviously, there's things that are time sensitive, like if you're selling your house or you got to get rid of cars or things like that. But go slow. Go at your own pace.
Go at your own pace, and I really cannot emphasize enough, start early. So when you start even formulating that this might be a good idea, hey, that's a good time to start downsizing.
Especially if you're like, we're digital nomading, so we're working as we go. We're going to continue working. As we started thinking about this, I needed to communicate with the clients and make sure that, they're cool with this, that this would be okay, that I would be working in Ecuador or working in Brazil or working somewhere else. Are you cool with that? I love my clients. They're great. They're excited that we're going to go on this journey. So just take your time. Make sure you think through all of the challenges that you might run into and go at a pace that's right for you.
Our last tip is that you need to think through the logistics of everything. So, you know...
Is there going to be a hurricane where you're going?
Yeah, that'd be something to think about. So, you know, what are you doing with your mail?
Yeah.
Where's your home base? You know, if you did like us, you're switching states, you got to think about taxes and you know, so there's...
Getting your driver's license.
Yeah,
that
so
was
we
an
did
adventure
that.
for us.
That was completely an adventure in Florida. It was way different than it was in the Midwest.
In Kansas, just different, but in Kansas, you set an appointment, sometimes for the next day, you go in at the appointment, it takes a half an hour to do the thing, and it's fine.
Yeah.
You get it done. In Florida, if you want to do a walk-in, you have to wake up and be in line at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, I would say, 7
And
a.m.
even then, we got there maybe around 7-ish.
7.
And we were almost the last people that they accepted.
They only-
There was one lady behind us. So they literally go through this super long line that goes on forever. And they give you tickets. And if you get a ticket, you made it in that day.
Yeah.
And that was our adventure yesterday.
Yeah,
That was-
so we were there in line at 7. The place didn't even open until 8:30. We got out of there right at about 10:15. So, I mean, it worked fine. It was okay. It was just not what we were used
We
to.
heard stories that people had gotten there at midnight, 3 a.m.
Yep.
And
Yep.
honestly, by the time we got inside, it kind of went pretty fast, even
It
for us
did.
being towards the end. So I don't think I would want to get there at midnight.
Just so you know, you can get an appointment. It's fine.
can.
But the appointment for us was a month away.
Yeah, it
So-
was not, we were not going to be able to get in for at least 3 weeks or so.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we kind of just wanted to get it done.
So we went the next day, and
got
we
up
got it
early
done.
and went.
We
Yep.
went really early. So
Yep.
just be prepared for the logistics of what you're doing. Like, when are you going to get your driver's license? Kind of a shock for us was when we brought a car down here, our daughter's car. Literally, her insurance doubled just because she was coming from Michigan to Florida. Same car, same insurance. Cost of insurance doubled for her. So just be aware of all those kinds of logistics. Plan
Now,
for that.
if your extra bedroom is in your daughter's apartment and it's in the same state, none of this will apply to you.
Right. It works out. We don't even have to have a car. So, yeah, we have 2 bicycles. We kept those. So,
But you won't need a new driver's license or any of that. But we did have to get that. But only because we relocated, and I understand that wouldn't be the same for everybody.
But mail is a big thing you got to think about because, if
Getting everything switched over to a new address.
yeah,
yes.
where's your tax residency going to be? Because if you're a U.S. citizen, you get to pay U.S. taxes no matter where you're
Even if
living. You
you're
have to
not here.
file for them. You have to file them. Even if you're taking advantage of the old, I'm out of the country for a certain amount of days, you still have to file taxes. And
Yep.
you have to have a state of residency for your taxes. So
Yep.
you've got to think through those kinds of things. If you have an accountant, talk to an accountant. If you don't have an accountant and you're going to be a digital nomad, you might want to get an accountant, someone who understands what it means to be a digital
There's actually
nomad.
online services too, and there's people that can help with that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Mail was a big one. You mentioned mail, making sure you have a mailing address. We have an apartment with our daughter, so
Yes.
we have a mailing address. So you just got to think through all those little logistics, so people get contact. If you're going to have cell phone service, where's your cell phone service going to be through? So we're going to be traveling. It's good for us because we're on T-Mobile, and T-Mobile travels with us throughout South America. They have
That is
partnerships with different countries, so it works out really well. But you got to think through all those little logistics.
Okay, so we started this video with our little whiteboard with a number, and that is leading to phase 4. And
Yep.
phase 4 for us is...
Go. It's literally what we've been working up toward for the 5-year plan that we keep talking about. It's how do we get to go on this journey and go to all these places and see all the new and exciting things.
And we know
So-
the date for us because we booked our tickets to Argentina. So
Yep.
December 29th.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to spend 2 weeks in Argentina. And then Deb, I don't know, one day asked me, she's like, hey, there's a 2-week Antarctic cruise that leaves out of Argentina. You want to go on it? And I was like, hell to the yeah, for sure. So we're going to take a 2-week Norwegian cruise, right? And it goes around the horn of southern tip of South America and goes over to Chile and then comes back. So we'll spend 2 weeks in Argentina, 2 weeks on a cruise ship. So
And then we hope to hit some really good places in South America next year. So stay tuned.
Yep, we got lots of different places to share with you. So there's going to be a lot of different content coming. We appreciate you coming by the channel. Make sure that if you've got questions for us about decluttering, destuffing, or the digital nomad experience, ask them in the comments. We love to hear questions and comments, and we try to answer all of them. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.